localizing SDGs now for 2030. Hi Nabangi, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Live here at Hotel St. Ellis, Legazpi City, Albay. This is 2030 is now the Youth SDG Impact. How about we start this evening with your biggest round of applause, please? Before anything else, I believe let us first acknowledge our delegations all across the beautiful islands of the Philippines. As I call your delegation, please stand to be recognized. Where are the delegations and our friends from Luzon? Wow, a bunch of delegations from Luzon. Thank you so much. How about our delegations from Visayas? Thank you so much. How about our friends and delegations from Mindanao? Thank you so much. I just wanted to say you look so stunning tonight with your cultural barong and tradition clothings. And with that, to formally and to officially open this evening's program, we now invite a leader whose steadfast dedication continues to uplift youth and advance SDG localization in the Philippines. To introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, may we call on the National Youth Convener for Awards and Recognitions, Ms. Eliza E. Makabuhay.
Good evening. Honorable Jefferson Romeo Felix is a medical technology graduate from the University of Santo Tomas, Manila. He currently serves as a city councilor and SK Federation president of the city government of Naga. He was also the former city youth vice mayor and presiding officer of the Sangguniang Panlungsod. As a legislator, he has authored key innovative policies that strengthen youth governance and civic engagement. Among his landmark ordinances are the Seal of Good Youth Governance Ordinance of Naga City, the State of the Youth Address Ordinance, and the Enhanced Sangguniang Kabataan Mandatory Training Ordinance, and the SK Budget Optimization and Interbarangay Collaboration Ordinance. Additionally, he filed legislations like the Naga City Student Voices in Education and Health Governance, the Artificial Intelligence Governance and Advancement, also the Antimicrobial Resistance Prevention and Control Program Ordinance, and the institutionalization of the Barangay Youth Development Council in Naga City. Beyond his legislative work, he is the founder and former executive director of One Health PH, a nationwide organization that combats health illiteracy, disinformation, and other public health challenges for a healthier Philippines. He also served as the editor-in-chief of the UST Purple Gazette, the official publication of the Faculty of Pharmacy, Medical Technology, and Biochemistry. He is also a Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Academic Fellow for Civic Engagement at the Hatfield School of Government, Portland State University in the United States of America. Additionally, he is an Adenauer Young Leaders Program Fellow of the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. And just recently, the SK Federation of Naga City, under his leadership, was recognized as the most outstanding Sangguniang Kabataan Federation in the Philippines. Let us welcome our keynote speaker this evening, Honorable Jefferson Romeo B. Felix. A round of applause, please.
Thank you very much for that very generous introduction. Okay pa ba? Okay pa? Okay. Okay. So, Diyos marhay na pagkabanggi po sa tuyang gabos. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. A warm and youthful greetings to everyone. Before I begin, may question lang ako. Masaya ba kayo sa kasalukuyan or sa kasalukuyang estado ng ating bansa? Yes or no? No. Ang sunod na tanong, sa ano? Sa Naga? Oo, masaya kami sa Naga. Pero may sunod akong tanong. May pag-asa pa ba tayo? Yes. Malinaw na malinaw sa atin na may pag-asa pa tayo. If there's one thing history teaches us, it is this. Nations do not collapse overnight. They collapse slowly. At nakita din natin yon over the years. And yung mga kasama natin, mga titas at titos dito, alam naman nila na hindi naman biglaan ang pangyayari sa bansa natin ito. It happens every time we tolerate a small injustice. It happens every time we ignore small failures. It happens every time we accept what we know is wrong. And tonight, as we gather to talk about the future, we must have the courage to admit first that the future can still be stolen from us if we do not act with conviction today. So let me ask you another question. What kind of country will we become if the next generation inherits the same problems we refused to confront today? Yes, we talk about the future, but let us be honest about the present. And in this message, let me share with you the realities that I have encountered since I started my public service journey back in 2023. First thing is that education is still unequal, or shall we say, it is still very inaccessible to a lot of young people. I have met students who walk several kilometers just to reach school. I have spoken to learners who share a single device with their 3 siblings, trying their best to keep up while competing for signal, for quiet space, and time. And in our recently published, let me also share our recently findings from our recently published Youth Situation Report in Naga City. We saw that these struggles are also mirrored across the barangays. Learning gaps remain wide, foundational skills are uneven, and many young people feel unprepared for higher education or employment, not because they lack the potential, but because they lack the access. And a lot of students in our communities, including many of you who are here, are quietly wondering if the promised future you were raised to believe still exists. Or is it already fading before you even reach it? And to make matters worse, because we are confronting the realities now, right? A lot of young people across the country study in substandard classrooms, structures so old, damaged, or unsafe that they can no longer be used because they were weakened by earthquakes or flooded repeatedly during typhoons or left unprepared after years of climate-related damage. And the most overlooked part of education in the Philippines is that our alternative learning system learners and our young persons with special needs. ALS youth are pushed out of formal schooling, not because it is their choice, but the realities are because of early pregnancy, pwede din financial hardship, and a lot of our ALS students are stopped being informal schooling because of financial hardship. Also, caregiving responsibilities. We have encountered an AL student who stopped informal schooling because she needed to take care of her 3 siblings. Also, bullying or the need to work. Meanwhile, our youth with disabilities continue to face schools that are not fully accessible, technologies that are not inclusive, and environments that do not yet respect their full potential. I've also met AL students who study at night after a full day of labor, and young PWDs who persevere despite lacking assistive devices, accessible pathways, or proper learning accommodations. And their determination is extraordinary. But determination should not be a requirement for learning. The system should be. I am saying this because my twin brother is also a PWD. And I know firsthand how hard it is to assist him going to school and to access basic services. And these stories make one truth impossible to ignore. The number of out-of-school youth, including our ALS learners and young persons with disabilities or people with special needs, is not just a statistic. It is an evidence of education system that is still struggling to protect the dreams of its children. Our youth fall behind not because of lack of intelligence or capability, but because of lack of access, support, and systems designed for their realities. Until such time we build stronger institutions for education, institutions that are inclusive, accessible, climate resilient, and safe, the divide will still persist. And futures will continue to be determined not by talent, but by circumstance. Another reality is that health remains fragile. Did you know that most of us here in this hall, our families, our neighbors, the people sitting beside us, are just one hospitalization away from poverty? May magkasakit lang na isa sa pamilya nyo, napakarami ng gagastusin. And napakaraming iisipin kung saan kukunin yung pera. We are all just one hospitalization away from poverty. And that's the reality of our Filipino families. This is the fragile reality of health in our country. One emergency, one accident, one illness can wipe out years of savings and push an entire family back into the margins. And this truth becomes even heavier when we look at the youth situation across the Philippines. Health remains fragile. And again, in our youth situation report in Naga City, we saw a lot of young people grappling with mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, overwhelming stress, even thoughts that they are too afraid to speak out. We saw cases of substance abuse among those who turn to escape because stability feels too far from reach. We saw malnutrition silently stunting both learning and confidence. Did you know that stunting is also related to the education outcomes of the students? Paano makakapag-aral ang isang estudyante kung kumakalamang sikmura? Paano makakapag-aral ang isang estudyante kung yung mismong katawan niya mismo ang babagsak bago pa naman siya makapag-aral? And it's all related. Also, sexual and reproductive health issues remain unaddressed because stigma, judgment, and misinformation still overshadow compassion and education. And these are not random exceptions. These are lived experiences of thousands of young people navigating their health in silence. I am saying this because this is our reality as well in Naga City. You know Naga City as a center for good governance, but it's also just like any other place. And I want to confront with you that there's still a problem. And these problems are not just because it happens in Naga City, but because it is a problem born out of a systems dilemma coming from the national government or even at the global scale. And I also remember meeting a group of students who admitted they were scared to seek help simply because they did not know where to start. They did not know which services were youth-friendly, which adults were safe to confide in, or whether their struggles would be validated or minimized. And this is our systemic failure. Health literacy remains weak, and community health systems remain reactive instead of preventive. It remains reactive rather than preventive. If you can remember what happened in COVID, we reacted, but we were not really prepared for that pandemic. Dapat ang orientation natin ngayon in our health systems, we must be proactive rather than reactive. Diba? Preventive and promotive rather than curative. Many barangay health stations still lack the staffing, the equipment, or training needed to support young people. Mental health responses often activate only after a crisis, or worse, never before. And in many communities, the nearest clinic or hospital is not just physically distant, it is also emotionally inaccessible. And so many young people suffer quietly, not because they are weak, but because the systems meant to protect them are. They suffer because we continue to treat health as a privilege instead of right. They suffer because shame is still easier to access than support. Until we create health systems that are preventive, affordable, inclusive, youth-centered, and stigma-free. Until we train more health workers, strengthen barangay capacities, expand school-based health programs, and normalize conversations about mental, sexual, and reproductive health, our young people will continue to bear these burdens they were never meant to carry alone. A society that allows its youth to suffer in silence will never move toward the future it promises. One realization about this also is that I think, or you've also experienced or realized na bakit mas mahal lagi ang healthy options? Diba? Bakit sinasabi na dapat magkaroon tayo ng balanced lifestyle, dapat kumain tayo ng tama, ng masusustansya, pero bakit yung mga masusustansyang pagkain pa yung mga pinakamahal? So just think about that. Next reality is that economic empowerment is still out of reach for many. I have spoken with young workers doing double shifts, one job in the morning, another at night, yet still going home barely enough to survive. I have met young entrepreneurs with brilliant ideas, but without the capital, mentorship, or market access to sustain them. And also in our youth situation report, we have seen that young Nagueños shared the same frustrations. Limited job opportunities, training programs that do not match the industry demands, and the labor market that demands experience from those who are too young to have any. Have you realized na most of the jobs right now ask for at least 3 years of experience? But the question is, paano naman yung mga fresh grads? Diba? Paano naman yung mga fresh grads? And many graduates cannot find jobs aligned with their field, while others are trapped in cycles of contractual work without security, stability, or growth. And these are not failures of effort. Again, these are failures of systems. And this is not because our young people lack the talent. Filipino people, most especially those who have experienced the K-12 already. By the way, I am part of the first batch of the K-12. We know that we are very capable. We know that we are very creative. And we are ambitious. To to us, or what lacks are the pathways for us to thrive. What the young people need are real opportunities. What the people deserve are systems that believe in their potential and prepares them for an economy shaped by technology, by climate change, and global competition. And on the second part of this message, let me stress out why strengthening the foundations of our society matters more than ever. Because at the heart of every solution, whether in education, in health, or economic empowerment, are the same pillars. First, strong institutions. Strong institutions. Second, good governance. And third, ethical leadership. And these are not just responsibilities of the government alone. These are responsibilities we carry together. Every young person, every advocate, every organization in this room is not simply a recipient of solution, but a co-creator of them. We are not just passive beneficiaries. We are active partners in building the systems that will shape our future. Strong institutions again matter because when systems function, no young person is left to depend on luck or privilege. A strong school system ensures that every learner, regardless of background, receives quality education. A strong health system ensures that communities are protected before crises erupt, not after the damage has been done. And a strong local economy built on institutions, on mentorship programs, on innovation hubs, on micro grants, on job pipelines, does not rely on connections, it relies on fairness. And each of us has a role here. Students who raise their concerns, youth leaders who help shape policies, organizations that pioneer new models, and public servants who commit building structures that outlive us. Next component is good governance. Good governance matters because it is the discipline that turns public ambition into real, measurable impact. It is what ensures that budgets are not just spent, but invested in solutions backed by evidence, aligned with real community needs, and designed for long-term results. When governance is grounded in process and clarity, programs become purposeful, and budgets are tagged to outcomes. And may I share with Naga City, with our budget system, ang sabi namin lagi sa Naga City, may kwento ang bawat kwenta. Meaning, ask us kung anong priorities namin, and we will show you our budget. The highest component of our 2026 annual budget is invested in education. Next is on health, and the rest follows. Because that is how it should be, di ba? And that is our model for good governance. But also, one thing is, good governance does not happen in isolation. It is strengthened when people participate meaningfully, when organizations demand transparency, and also when barangays collaborate instead of compete, and when leaders commit to fairness, discipline, and accountability. Governance becomes truly transformative when every part of the system, the youth, the civil society, the educators, the health workers, the public servants, and the communities, shares responsibility for the result. Because governance is not just what the government does. It is the collective practice of building a society where all of us work together. And last component of having these strong institutions, good governance, last and most important thing for this stuff to happen is ethical leadership. Ethical leadership matters because Even the best systems collapse when leaders act without conscience. And leadership without integrity corrupts institutions from within and erodes public trust. Di tayo makakagalaw kung walang tiwala ang mga tao sa gobyerno. Paulit-ulit lang yan mangyayari, I promise you. Paulit-ulit lang ang mga drama. Paulit-ulit lang din tayong niloloko. And this is why ethical leadership is not only found in high office. It is also found in every young person here with us who chooses accountability over shortcuts. Every student leader who practices fairness. Every volunteer who serves without asking what they can gain. Ethical leadership is the culture we build together. It is the daily choice to protect trust, uphold dignity, and safeguard the common good. It is what keeps governance human, values-driven, and anchored in what is right rather than what is convenient. And as these pillars take root in our work, we begin to see quiet but undeniable shifts in the lives of young people. Hopefully, standards may become clearer, participation becomes more meaningful, and youth structures that were once symbolic begin to function with real purpose. However, none of these changes we have achieved are perfect. But at least they are still intentional. And they show us something important. Transformation does not always come from dramatic breakthroughs or from grand gestures. It unfolds in a steady discipline of young leaders or leaders in our systems who choose integrity over shortcuts and structure over shortcuts. Especially in an environment where corruption has become normalized. Kung tutuusin nga, sinasabi namin sa Naga, kung tutuusin, lahat ng ginagawa namin ay bare minimum lang dapat. Bare minimum lang dapat sa gobyerno na galingan ng mga opisyales nito. Bare minimum lang dapat na honest at may integridad ang mga leaders natin. Bare minimum lang dapat na nagpa-perform tayo according to standards. Pero dahil sa Pilipinas, naging normalized na ang, sorry for the term, ang panggagago, ang patronage politics, yung mga bare minimum natin masyado nang nagiging glorified. Tama? At ayun yung nagiging problema sa atin. But the hope with this one is, at least, mayroon pa tayong mga institusyon na may integridad. At patuloy na nag-endure at nagpapakita na pwede din pala, pwede din gawin sa atin, pwede din i-adopt ng ibang lugar, at pwede din mangyari para sa future nating lahat. And another thing, there's another realization when I immersed myself in communities, most especially in our young people and leaders in the national government. I have encountered our SK Federation presidents nationwide, some of the young leaders and even the older ones. I was shocked that I was confronted by a truth that unsettled me. In speaking with both government officials and student leaders, I was surprised to learn that many were still unfamiliar with the term SDGs. Nakakashock siya na up until now, malapit ng ang 2030, marami pang mga tao ang hindi alam kung ano SDGs. And what's shocking about it is that marami sa ating mga leaders sa government ang hindi pamilyar kung anong SDGs. So we've been fighting for SDGs, we've been re-echoing our advocacies, but there are still people who don't know what it is for. And perhaps the problem is, the question is, how can we advance development goals we have not yet internalized? And how can we claim ownership of the future when politics and corruption continuously distract us from what really matters? And also from their ignorance of these things. And maybe perhaps the problem is not the lack of willingness to learn about it, but maybe the lack of connections of what SDGs are truly for. Maybe the SDGs need to be retold in a language that most people understand. Maybe we must show that these goals are not distant global commitments, but deeply personal ones. Maybe we can say that quality education is not SDG 4, but rather we illustrate it as a student still trying to study in a damaged classroom, so that we have realities of what it is fighting for. We can also say that good health is not SDG 3. It is the young person afraid to seek help because of stigma, because stigma feels heavier than sickness. Decent work is not SDG 8. It is a graduate who cannot find a dignified job because funding for youth employment programs was lost to corruption or redirected by political pressure. So let us retell or recalibrate or let's say re-strategize on how we will tell stories about SDGs. Because ang totoo, if we keep on saying SDG 1, 2, 3, 4, hanggang 17, it doesn't penetrate the masses. Di siya naiintindihan. But rather, we must make them realize ano yung mga warm bodies related to it. Ano yung mga sitwasyon na na-experience natin na related to it. Only then, a lot of people will understand what SDGs are. Even sa mga K-12 students nga po even in senior high schools, ilang beses na lumabas sa quiz yung SDGs pero di pa rin nila ma-internalize kung para saan ba ang SDGs. Because ang nangyayari, nagiging academic requirement lang siya for encounter. But hindi siya nare-realize kung ano bang pinaglalaban nito. And that's the challenge. And perhaps also, the biggest challenge then is we must widen the circle of youth participation on this matter. Spaces like these are really, really good. But also, in spaces like these, I also see a lot of similar faces. Same young leaders, same student councils, and same organizations, the same familiar faces. Maybe nationwide. Ganyan yung realidad natin Kapag may mga SDG events, pare-parehas na taong nag-attend. But di natin nakikita, oversaturated na yung young leader about SDGs. Kaya sila lang din nagkakaintindihan. So paano yung mga hindi nakakaalam ng SDGs? Huwag natin i-gatekeep sa kanila yung opportunities. Diba? And, Ayan. So, leadership must also rise from those who have never been invited, never been given the access, and never been seen by systems that favor the already connected. And again, politics, when corrupted by exclusion or transactional interest, often keeps these new leaders out. If SDGs are truly universal, then the youth movement that builds them must also be universal too. It must be accessible for everyone. Which brings us to a truth that many avoid. 2030 is not the finish line for the youth. Remember that. It's not the end, okay? It is simply a checkpoint. It is a checkpoint. Beyond 2030, young people will face stronger climate shocks, deeper economic transitions, digital disruptions, and political turbulence. The world after 2030 will not reward mere participation, but rather it will require preparedness, resilience, and principled leadership, and we must be prepared for that. And again, I will always mention this. Corruption and political gains will only make these challenges heavier if we do not confront them now. So this is why we must build a youth leadership pipeline. When we say pipeline, it is like making your young people ready for the next generation of leadership. Nakaabang, di ba? Ito din, if you will look at your local governments, napakarami sa ating mga leadership positions ang medyo maedad na ang mga nakaupo. Di ba? Pero the thing is, ang tanong natin doon, kapag tapos na yung mga terms nila or when they are gone, who's next? 'Di ba? Who's next? Sino ang mag-i-inherit ng sistema? And are we ready for it, young people? Ready ba tayo doon? Given na napakarami din problema. But the thing is, we must build a youth leadership pipeline, not just as a slogan, but as a responsibility. We must raise young people who can lead with competence and conscience, who understand systems, who value evidence, who can resist the distortions of politics, who can steward institutions with integrity. We must nurture a generation strong enough to defend public resources, courageous enough to speak truth to power, and disciplined enough to build systems that outlast personalities and political cycles. And because the young people of 2035, 2040, and 2050 deserve more than broken institutions and recycled excuses. They deserve clarity. They deserve stability. They deserve pathways that are fair. They deserve a society that trusts them and equips them to lead. They deserve a future. We deserve a future protected from corruption and strengthened by ethics, transparency, and collective courage of the generation. And so tonight, before I end, patapos na to, and so tonight, let me leave you this message, and perhaps the clearest and most urgent truth of all. Our future is non-negotiable. Again, our future is non-negotiable. Every injustice that we tolerate today, every corruption we ignore today, every political compromise we accept today will return to us with consequences. It will haunt us in the future. Kaya dapat wag natin yang hayaan. Okay? Ready ba kayo mag-lead for the future? Ready pa ba? Ulitin ko din yung tanong ko kanina, may pag-asa pa ba tayo? At handa ba kayong ialay ang sarili nyo para makamit yung inaasam natin? And yeah, I'm going to that. Going back to that, if we want a better country, then accountability must also be non-negotiable. Kaya nga sabi natin yan sa mga rallies, kung pwede nyo akong sabayan, kulong na yan, mga kurakot, kulong na yan, mga kurakot. So yan, thank you for rallying with me, and always remember, let us not allow anyone to steal our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Mr. Jefferson Felix, the SK Federation President of the City of Naga. Now for the presentation of the plaque and certificates to our esteemed keynote speaker, may we call on Ms. Eliza E. Makabuhay, the National Youth Convener for Awards and Recognition, Mr. Mark Lester B. Esto, the Lead National Youth Convener, and Dr. Ramona Ines R. Bustamante Rañeses, the UNEP National President. Citation reads, Plaque of Commendation is presented to Honorable Jefferson Romeo B. Felix in profound commendation of his invaluable contribution and service rendered as a keynote speaker of the 2030 is now First Philippine Youth Convention and SDG Localization with the United Nations theme From Where Youth Lead, localizing SDGs now for 2030 and beyond, held on November 28 to 29, 2025 at Hotel St. Louis, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed by Mark Lester B. Esto, the Lead National Youth Convener, and Dr. Ramona Ines R. Bustamante Rañeses, overall chair and national lead convener. Once again, a big round of applause to Honorable Jefferson Felix. Thank you so much. At this juncture, we honor the pillar who helped shape the success of this convention. Our celebration tonight would not be possible without the generosity and solidarity of our sponsor. Your commitment to supporting youth-led action and community development strengthens the impact of this convention and inspires future collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, our advocacy sponsor, may we call on the Green Farm Cafe to come forward us as we present the plaque. Go na.
Siya lang, huwag na isama si Ramona kasi nag-ano, si Beck. Sunod-sunod na ba? Or siya lang ang mag-isa? Ngayon, sunod-sunod ang award niyo. Kasi papuntahin ko na si Ramona. Huwag na.
We also extend our profound gratitude to the distinguished members of the Board of Judges, whose expertise, integrity, and thoughtful deliberation shaped the results of the 2013 Now Impact Awards. Your dedication ensures the rigor and excellence of this national recognition. Starting off with, as I call your name, please be here at the stage to receive the plaque and certificate.
Okay, joining us on stage si Ma'am Ramona.
Joining us on stage once again is the National President of UNAP, Dr. Ramona Ranieses,
And Tom Mariano, National Executive Director.
and Mr. Tom Mariano, the National Executive Director. First up, thank you so much, Ms. RJ Mulimbayan Reyes. Adonis II El Salen. And Engineer Christine Larce, represented by Mr. Clyde Nate.
People's choice. People's choice. People's choice na tayo. Go na.
Okay.
Black.
Let's go. Let's go.
Black na people's choice.
We now proceed with the announcement of the People's Choice Award and this year's special citations. This recognition celebrates the entry that demonstrated exceptional engagement, creativity, and advocacy, strength, and impactful youth leadership. Our first recognition for this segment is the 2030 Champion on People's Choice Award, a distinction given to the entry that garnered the highest public support through online engagement and community votes, reflecting strong visibility, relevance, and resonance among the youth. And this year's awardee for People's Choice Award goes to Project Shape, San Vicente National High School, Supreme Secondary Learner Government. Once again, our People's Choice Awardee, Project Shape, San Vicente National High School. May we invite on stage the SK Federation President of Naga City, Ms. Honorable Jefferson Felix, to please join us here in presenting the awards. Next, we present a special citation on documentation and presentation, honoring an entry that showcased exceptional clarity, storytelling, technical quality, and effectiveness in delivering its SDG narrative. And with that, our special citation on documentation and presentation goes to Skiba Positibong Pasigueño.
May isang umakyat.
Once again, our awardee for a special citation on documentation and presentation, Skiba of Positibong Pasigueño. Congratulations. Our final recognition under this segment is a special citation on advocacy and youth leadership. This will be awarded to entries that demonstrated exemplary commitment to youth empowerment, community engagement, and sustained advocacy work. As I call your project, please be here to be recognized. First, we have congratulations, Proyekto Nutrisyon, Mandato para sa Kabataan by Kiara Marie V. Galigao and Geraldine S. Edong.
Paulit na lang, Mr. From Western Visayas.
The proponent of Proyekto Nutrisyon, Mandato para sa Kabataan ay coming from the Western Visayas. We also have, congratulations, Project 2030, Together for Change, from Kalinga State University Central Student Government. Congratulations. Our next awardee goes to Light of Hope, Clutter to Care from Angeles University Foundation, University Student Council. Congratulations. Our next special citation awardee goes to Tinguha, Caraga State University Main Campus, University Student Government. Congratulations. Our next special citation awardee goes to Handog Pag-ibig, Indifferences, Not Indifference, Paulinian Volunteers for Community Development. Last on the list to our special citation awardee goes to Sagip Bata, Mangagoy East Elementary School, Supreme Elementary Learner Government. Congratulations to all our awardees. We now proceed to our first category award. Tonight, we honor outstanding collaborative leadership through the Synergy Award for Partnerships and Collaboration, an award that recognizes initiatives built upon collective action, strategic alliances, and strong intersectoral cooperation in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. Before announcing the winners, we will first present the top 3 nominees for this category. First on the list, Skiva Positibong Pasigueño. Second, Andam Eva 4.0 of University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. And Kaloob na Banahaw Year 4, Southern Luzon State University Supreme Student Council Federation. Now, we begin with the third place. This recognition is awarded to Kaloob na Banahaw Year 4, Southern Luzon State University Supreme Student Council Federation. For the second place, the award goes to... Before anything else, congratulations to our third place awardee, Kaloob na Banahaw, Year 4. Our second place goes to Skiba Positivo Pasigueño.
Ready the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, that means our Synergy Award for Partnerships and Collaboration first placer is Andam EBA 4.0, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. And now we have reached the moment of awarding our first place recognition. Before we award a plaque of recognition, let us now view the winning video entry. Let's all watch this.
Hi, let me introduce to you Miss Cherry Mar Ibanez, a mother of two, married and currently unemployed. Despite her efforts, she still struggles to provide for her family's daily needs. Women like Cherry are determined and hardworking, yet often lack the tools and opportunities to break free from poverty. But what she didn't know was that there was a movement that was already starting, one that would soon find her, lift her, and help her rise again. This is the story of Project Andam EBA, empowering women, one initiative at a time. I am Marcus Jason C. Domingo from University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, representing Andam Higala, and I invite you to journey with us from awareness to action and to empowerment. Before we met Cherry, our team went to the deep communities bringing sanitary kits, listening to stories, and learning from the voices of women and children. What we discovered was heartbreaking. A rising numbers of unemployed women, teenage mothers, and other vulnerable members of the community, all struggling in silence, longing for hope and opportunity. And so, Andam EBA was born. Andam EBA is a youth-led empowerment initiative that equips women, especially young and marginalized mothers, with the skills, confidence, and opportunities to achieve self-reliance through education, livelihood training, and entrepreneurship. The name comes from the Visayan word Andam, means prepared, and EBA means women, symbolizing a prepared woman ready to face life with purpose and dignity. Our goal: to equip women with essential skills, build their confidence, and create opportunities for empowerment in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals on gender equality, quality education, and decent work. Our objective: engage, institutionalize an organization of women entrepreneurs, equip, train 30 mothers with entrepreneurial skills, establish, launch micro enterprises with at least 10% increase in net profit margin. And lastly, empower, legalize their business through government regulatory agencies. So in 2020, Andam EBA 1.0 began a virtual campaign on health, rights, and protection for teenage mothers. But awareness was only the beginning. Through the support of Ayala Foundation and the Macquarie Group, we launched Andam EBA 2.0, training scholar mothers in livelihood and business skills. Out of 38 beneficiaries, 15 received startup funds to begin their journey towards financial independence. As years passed, Andam EBA continued to evolve, and Andam EBA 3.0, Alsa ng Kababaihan, supported the wives of quarrymen in Barangay Consolacion, teaching them sewing, baking, and digital literacy. Each phase became a story of transformation, women building confidence, earning income, and finding strength in others. And came Andam EBA 4.0, Women in Motion, focused on women from relocation sites, helping them turn ideas into business through startup training. It is a 10-month startup and accelerator program for 30 women ages 24 to 35 years old. And also, we reach our goals by staying true to our 4 pillars: engage, equip, establish, and empower. So for our phase 1, engage, community development. As you can see, we had our stakeholders consultation, the launching of our Andam EBA, the MOA signing, the org dev seminar, the team building, Andam EBA, election of officers, and oath taking. And for our phase 2, the social mobility, hand spa, manicure training, foot spa, pedicure training, hair cutting, coloring, business addition planning, branding and marketing, and lastly, financial management. That's for the equip. For phase 3 and phase 4, establish and empower, basically the business presentation, microfinance orientation, recognition day, and to the power, business mentoring, business monitoring, and business registration. But the journey doesn't end there. Today, Andam EBA 5.0 continues this mission, a 6-month program focused on the skills training and business development for women ready to take their next leap. But this is only the beginning. We dream of expanding this model to more communities, training more prepared women who will, in turn, empower others. Every phase has been a story of transformation, a women discovering their work, finding their voice, shaping their own future. Cherry once said, "Before Andam EBA, I felt down, about to give up. Now I feel empowered. I know I can stand and still fight the battles in my life." We couldn't do this without our partners and our sponsors. That is the essence of our project, one woman at a time, one community at a time. This is Andam EBA, equipping women with skills for economic and social development.
Abante Babae. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Andam EBA 4.0 from University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines.
Hey, hey.
Congratulations once again, and we can wait to see your implementation success for the Andam EBA 5.0. All right, for our second set of awardee, may we call on the panel of judges to please join us here on stage.
Diyan ka lang po, ma'am. Entertain.
We now proceed to the Inclusion Awardee for Equity and Social Justice. This award recognizes exemplary initiatives that champion inclusivity, uphold equity, and promote meaningful participation among underrepresented and marginalized sectors. Again, we will present the top 3 nominees for this category. Brigada Pagbasa and Duyog Youth Volunteers Movement. Touch of Spectrum Legacy, Lyceum of the Philippines, University Batangas Colorete, Project Katig, Tabon M. Estrella, National High School Supreme Secondary Learner Government. Our third place goes to Project Katig, Tabon M. Australian National High School Supreme Secondary Learner Government.
Ganda!
Congratulations. For the second place, congratulations to Brigada Pagbasa Anduyog Youth Volunteers Movement. Now let us watch the winning video entry of the first place awardee.
When I first came to LP Batangas, I didn't just want to, go to class, pass exams, and call it a day. I wanted to do something that actually mattered. Something that made a difference. So, I started small, really small. Talking to students who felt invisible, listening to voices that weren't really being heard. Every little chat, every tiny workshop, every small program, it all started feeling like part of something bigger. I didn't have a name for it yet, but I knew it mattered. And then slowly, I started realizing how these little steps connect to something much bigger, like global goals we always hear about. Turns out, what we do here can actually ripple outward too. The first step, it was courage. That fire inside you that says, I can do this for someone else. With the help of our partners like Way Quality through the Equalitas program, we run health programs, HIV and STI screenings, gender-affirming therapy, legal and socioeconomic guidance. I remember this one student, nervous as anything, barely able to ask questions. By the end, they walked out feeling, seen, relieved, confident, like someone actually cared. And that's when it hit me. Advocacy is not just about, giving info. It is care, real human care. That is when SDG 3 and 5 click for me. They are not just concepts. They are real, tangible changes. Right there in someone's lives.
Next was hope. And honestly, integrity. Doing good even when no one's watching. through the Rags to Riches Sustainable Program. We trained women at the Sotero H. Laurel Restoration Village to turn leftover fabrics into products, specifically rags. We ran workshops, connected their work to local markets, and just helped them see that what they were doing actually mattered. It wasn't just earning money, it was empowerment, creativity, and sustainability all at once. And suddenly, SDG 8 and 12 weren't just lines on a page. I could see them happening right there. In their smiles, in their products, in their lives. And then, I wanted to reach further. So we organized panels here in Batangas and even online, bringing students, experts, and partners together. And then it clicked. Everything I'd done so far was connecting, like little pieces of bigger picture coming together. And now I can finally say it. Red for courage, green for hope, yellow for unity, and blue for trust. Each color tells a story. Lives touch, futures rebuild, and a strengthened community. The SDGs aren't just goals. They are proof that advocacy actually works, that it actually changes lives. Every health session, every workshop, every panel, it all counts.
And I am John Benedict De Jesus Borja, a multimedia art student and advocate. And this is the Touch of Spectrum Legacy.
Congratulations to the Inclusion Award for Equity and Social Justice First Place, Touch of Spectrum Legacy, Lyceum of the Philippines University, Batangas, Colorete. We now move to the Resilience Awardee for Sustainability and Scalability. This award honors initiatives that demonstrate long-term impact, strong community adaptability, and the potential for growth, replication, or broader implementation. Here are the top 3 nominees for this category. Gulayan ni Agustin, Project Kalusugan, and Project Shape. For third place, the Resilience Award is presented to Project Kalusugan of Mary Love C. Agustin of Pampanga State University. For the second place, congratulations to Gulayan ni Agustin, Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay San Agustin, Iriga City. Congratulations. At this point, we present the winning video entry of the first place awardee. Let's all watch this.
In line with the Department of Education's mission to protect and promote every Filipino learner's right to quality, equitable, and inclusive education, San Vicente National High School proudly presents its student-led initiative, Project SHAPE. SHAPE stands for Servant of God, Helper of People, Advocates of Nationalism, Promoter of Hope, Peace, and Unity, and Eco-Activist of Environment. A youth-driven movement that embodies the four core values of DepEd: Makadiyos, Makatao, Makakalikasan, and Makabansa. This initiative supports sustainable development goals for quality education, 10. Reduced inequalities, 13. Climate action, and 16. Peace, justice. Apart from this, another pressing challenge emerged: the limited access to learning materials, inadequate ICT resources, and insufficient facilities that hindered the quality of education delivery. These barriers affected both engagement and academic performance. Hence, Project SHAPE was launched, a holistic, student-led initiative designed to strengthen learner participation, restore engagement, and bridge the gap in learning opportunities. The main goal of Project SHAPE is to achieve at least a 99.12% learner satisfaction rate while ensuring every student experiences the full enjoyment of their rights in school. Specifically, it aims to provide diverse opportunities for personal growth, promote moral and ethical leadership, encourage solidarity, foster environmental responsibility, and strengthen national pride. Our vision is to create a dynamic learning environment where every student becomes a servant leader, empowered to make meaningful change in school and community. What makes Project SHAPE unique is its integrated, student-led system that promotes holistic formation through 5 interconnected sectors: spirituality, service, nationalism, peace and unity, and environment. It introduces student networks called care groups that mentor peers academically and emotionally, and integrates inclusive leadership and eco-initiatives anchored in faith and social responsibility. Project SHAPE successfully revitalized student participation and restored learner satisfaction to 99.12%, aligning with the division standard. More importantly, it cultivated strong leadership, faith, empathy, and environmental awareness among the students. Through organized efforts, resource sharing, and inclusive programs, the school improved access to learning materials and ensured no learner was left behind.
I am Lilian Tibuy San, a grade 9 student and currently the SSLG treasurer of San Vicente National High School. Before SHAPE, I used to develop my leadership skills, shares as student facilitator. Now I've learned to serve with confidence and compassion.
Project SHAPE's framework can be replicated in other schools because it uses existing student organizations as key implementers and requires minimal funding. Its structure promotes continuity, sustainability, and scalability, empowering future youth leaders to innovate while preserving its core purpose of serving others.
Congratulations to the Resilient Award for Sustainability and Scalability First Place, Project SHAPE, San Vicente National High School, Supreme Secondary Learner Government.
ulit, balik ulit tayo. Congratulations po. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Project Shape. For our next category, may we invite Honorable Jeffson and Sir Toby to please join our UNEP National President together with Sam Patetico. Up next is the Innovators Awardee for Innovation and Creativity, celebrating initiatives that exhibit groundbreaking ideas, inventive solutions, and transformative approaches to addressing community challenges. We proudly present the top 3 nominees for this category. Kaloob na Banahaw, Year 4, Southern Luzon State University Supreme Student Council Federation. Skiba, Positibong Pasigueño. Andam Eba 4.0, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. Third place for Innovators Award goes to Andam Eba, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Second place goes to Skiba, Positibo Pasigueño. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now view the winning video entry of the first place awardee.
Posibleng irekomenda ng DNR na ipagbawal na ng tuluyan ang pag-akyat sa Mount Banahaw sa Quezon Province.
Mananatiling sarado sa mga turista at mga pilgrim ang ilang bahagi ng Mount Banahaw ngayon.
Nasusunod po ang bahagi ng Mount Banahaw sa Sariaya, Quezon.
Isang protected area ang Mount Banahaw.
Sa paanan pa lang ng bundok Banahaw sa barangay Sampaloc sa bayan ng Sariaya.
Mount Banahaw, a sanctuary, a sacred symbol, and the beating heart of the Southern Luzon. It is more than a mountain. It is home, heritage, and hope, a living testimony to the balance between people and nature. But over the years, its sacred silence has been challenged by deforestation, pollution, forest fire, quarrying, and neglect. And in this challenge, the youth of Quezon choose not to look away. In 2021, the Rotary Club of Lucena Circle launched its 10-year Environment Legacy Project, Kaloob na Banahaw, an offering of service, stewardship, and sustainability. A long-term mission, not just to protect the mountain, but to restore its spirit through youth leadership, community partnerships, and collective action. Recognized with the groundbreaking exemplary accomplishment of Rotaractors, Gear Awards is one of the best environment projects in Pilipinas Rotaract. Kaloob na Banahaw stands today as a beacon for Sustainable Development Goals number 13, emphasizes strengthening resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards, integrating climate measures into policies and education, and promoting awareness to reduce greenhouse gas emission. In Kaloob na Banahaw, this goal is reflected through reforestation, environmental education, and initiatives that mitigate the local effects of climate change. Next is Sustainable Development Goal number 15. Through tree planting, forest protection, and habitat restoration efforts in Mount Banahaw, the project directly contributes to the conservation of natural resources and the rehabilitation of degraded ecosystems. And Sustainable Development Goals number 17. It promotes collaboration among governments, civil society, and academia, and the private sector. The partnership between the SLSU Supreme Student Council Federation with the Rotary Club of Lucena Circle and the numerous organizations exemplifies Goal 17 by bridging sectors, mobilizing collective action, and strengthening networks for long-term sustainability. Now on its fourth year, the movement expands through the lead of the Southern Luzon State University Supreme Student Council Federation and the Office of the Student Region with the College of Agriculture student organizations, all joining hand with the communities living around the slopes of Mount Banahaw. This year, we continue our legacy through 3 core activities. Each letter, each act, a promise to our environment. BA stands for Bantay, equipping and supporting Mount Banahaw Forest Rangers, from durable boots to protective gear. Every item strengthens their capacity to safeguard the forest, protecting its delicate balance and ensuring wonders endure for generations. NA stands for Nara. This year, we plant 300 more Nara saplings, adding to the 900 planted over the past 3 years, moving us closer to our 10-year target of 3,000 Nara trees. Each tree symbolizes life, healing, and the resilience of our ecosystem. HOW stands for Howie, to clean, to clear, an act of renewal, physically restoring trails and spiritually reconnecting people to the nature. Howie reminds us, caring for Banahaw is caring for our future. Before this, our early chapters were just as meaningful. BA stands for Bahay Ibon, crafting with a nest for migratory birds. BA for Bagong Anyo, rehabilitating and improving trekking paths for sustainable ecotourism. And HOW for Hawla, building safe and enclosures and temporary shelters for eagles injured by illegal hunting. Each phase a layer of learning, each action a deeper connection. Innovation in Kaloob na Banahaw doesn't lie in technology, but in transformation. Our strategy is rooted in community inclusion and youth collaboration, bridging institutions, local groups, and indigenous knowledge keepers. Through our multi-sector partnerships, we've mobilized over 400 volunteers from both university and community sectors, engaged 10 local agencies, and garnered 150,000 worth of in-kind and financial support since the project's inception.
Bilang isang agriculture student, napakalaking karangalan ang maging bahagi ng Kaloob na Banahaw. Habang inaalagaan namin ang Banahaw, mas nauunawaan namin kung gaano kahalaga ang papel ng kabataan sa pagpapanatili ng buhay ng ating kalikasan.
For 4 years, Kaloob na Banahaw has planted not only trees, but trust, awareness, and stewardship. It has inspired communities to reimagine their relationship with Mount Banahaw, not as visitors, but its guardians. Our impact is measurable. 1,200 trees planted, 3 hectares rehabilitated, 6 wildlife shelters built, and over 1,000 lives touched through education and engagement. But more than numbers, it's the change in mindset that truly matters. As we enter the next phase of our 10-year commitment, we reaffirm our promise to continue the climb, to protect what sustains us, and to leave a legacy rooted in compassion and continuity. Kaloob na Banahaw is not just a project. It is a pledge to the environment. It proves that when young people unite under the shared purpose, even mountains can heal. From Quezon to Laguna, from campus to community, we are the generations that gives back to the mountain that has given us life. Together,
Congratulations to the Innovators Award for Innovation and Creativity. Kaloob na Banahaw, Year 4, from Southern Luzon State University, Supreme Student Council Federation.
Ano lang, Ellis award. Last na yun.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at the highest and most distinguished recognition of the evening, the Catalyst Award. This award is reserved for an initiative that stands at the forefront of transformative action, a project that has successfully localized the Sustainable Development Goals, created measurable and lasting community impact, and ignited progress that continues to inspire replication and collective action. The Catalyst Award honors not only excellence, but leadership and innovation and unwavering commitment to sustainable development. It is given to an outstanding initiative whose efforts have become a model of meaningful change, setting the benchmark of youth-led SDG implementation across the country. Tonight, we proudly present the nominees whose remarkable work embodies the spirit of the SDGs and the power of youth-driven development. Here are the top 3 nominees. Andam EBA 4.0, University of Science and Technology of Southern Luzon, Southern Philippines. Kaloob na Banahaw, Year 4, Southern Luzon State University, Supreme Student Council Federation. Skiva, Positibong Pasigueño. And with that, after careful evaluation and deliberation by our esteemed Board of Judges, we now proceed to the announcement of this year's Catalyst Awardee. Let us all watch this.
Pinag-aaralan na ng Health Department na ideklara bilang National Public Health Emergency ang Human Immunodeficiency Virus o HIV.
Buna naman ang nadagdag sa mga kaso ng HIV sa Pilipinas mula Enero hanggang
women having sex with stories reported 500% increase in HIV cases among the youth.
Sa 2023, nakita namin mabilis ang pagtaas from 6 cases a day in 2010. Ngayon po, nasa 40 to 57 cases a day. So, almost 500%.
Ayon sa Department of Health Metro Manila Center Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit, 226 na Pasigueño ang nagpositibo sa HIV sa buong taon ng 2023. Itong po sa mga ito ay kabataang edad 15 hanggang 24 na taong gulang.
Ako si P24 BC, isang college student, 19 years old. I was diagnosed last March 2024. 18 years old ako noon. Sa Lakuyan, nakapagsimula na ako ng gamutan. Siguro kung nagkaroon ng mas maayos at mas makabatang access sa protection katulad ng condom, nakaiwas or napangalagaan ko aking sarili laban sa HIV.
Ang Iskiba ay naging taunang hakbang para sa ating mga SK Kagawad, lalo na sa ating SK Kagawad on Health and God, para magkaroon sila ng prior knowledge about HIV awareness. Gayon din, ito ay nakatulong sa kanila para magkaroon ng magandang mga proyekto o magkaroon ng magandang plano sa pagbabalangkas ng mga proyekto para sa ating mga komunidad.
Hi! Ako si Inchang, ang persona ng mga komunidad na pinaglilingkuran ng positibong Pasigenyo. At nandito ako para ipakilala ang aming proyekto kasama ng buong SK ng Pasig, ang SKIVA. Dalawa lang ang layunan ng SKIVA. Una, ang maipantay at magkaroon ng kaalaman ng mga SK patungkol sa HIV. Ang maipaunawa sa kanila ang kahalagahan ng pagkakaroon ng sapat na kaalaman patungkol dito. Pangalawa, matiyak na magamit ang kanilang kaalaman at kasanayan para masiguro na magkakaroon ng pondo sa kanilang annual budget para sa HIV. Agad na tumalima ang SK Federasyon at naglabas sila ng memo stating na dapat nakapriority ang HIV sa kanilang mga annual plans.
Ang SKIVA po ang tumulong magkaroon ng malinaw na direksyon at gabay ang ating mga SK Council sa Pasig tungkol po sa paggawa ng mga proyekto patungkol sa HIV/AIDS awareness and prevention. So from 2024 to 2025, malinaw po ang naging vision ng mga SKs sa Pasig na laanan ng budget at magkaroon ng proyekto para sa HIV/AIDS program para sa kabataang Pasigenyo.
Maraming youth-centered project sa HIV ang naipanganap. Una sa mga ito ang hashtag #SafeLove, pag-ibig na ligtas at malayo sa HIV at unwanted teenage pregnancy. Kasama ang 10 SK Council, tayo ay nagsagawa ng simultaneous HIV screening at condom distributions sa 10 magkakaibang barangay dito sa Pasig. Unang beses at pinakamalawak na HIV screening ito sa kasaysayan ng lungsod. Pangalawa, ang hampasan, The Spike to Fight HIV, kung saan ginamit natin ang pagkahumaling ng mga kabataan sa volleyball para sila ay maturuan at masiguradong mabibigyan ng HIV services. Sumunod ay ang Pulang Himig, kung saan nabigyan ng pagkakataon ang mga junior high school students na ipakita ang kanilang talento sa pagsulat o paglikha ng kanta patungkol sa HIV. Ika-4 ay ang Talk 1 Test 1 Save 1, the Sangguniang Kabataan Race to Stop HIV. 30 kabataan ang sumailalim sa pagsasanay para maging peer educator. Ang kanilang layunin ay una, kumausap ng isang tao at maturuan ng HIV, Talk 1. Pangalawa, mangkumbinsi silang magpa-test, Test 1. Kung magpa-test, regardless the result, na-save natin sila. Kung mag-positive ay ililink to care, kung mag-negative ay bibigyan ng condom at bibigyan ng PrEP. Panghuli ay ang Project C-Sites, Safe Site for Pasigen Youth. Katuwang ang 6 na SK Council at isang coffee shop, tayo ay nakapaglagay ng 7 condom dispenser na naging safe access ng mga kabataang edad 18 years old pataas. Dito maaari silang makakuha ng libreng condom, ligtas ito dahil sa loob mismo ng SK office nakalagay, youth-centered at free from discrimination. Hindi lang dito nagtatapos ang mga engagement ng SKIVA sa SK dahil halos lahat ng mass gathering event ng SK ay nandoon ang positibong Pasigenyo at nagsasagawa ng mga pagsusuri sa HIV. Mula KK Assembly hanggang opening ng liga, maging sa ilang mga item at allowance distribution ay laging present ang HIV screening because we also want to change the narrative na dapat ang HIV screening ay normal. Natapos ang 2024 na nakapagtala tayo ng 1,411 total number of tested. 994 sa mga ito ay kabataang edad 15 to 24 years old. Malungkot dahil 21 sa kanila ay nagpositibo sa HIV, ngunit mabuti na din dahil sa ngayon 20 sa kanila ang nakapagsimula na ng gamutan. 27 community HIV screening events at 9 na organic events. Dahil na din sa mga ganitong pagkilos at mga datos, tayo bilang isang organisasyon ay nagkamit ng 2 prestihiyosong karangalan. Una ay ang Outstanding Achievement in Catalyzing Youth Leadership na iginawad sa atin ng Achieve Inc. At ng UNAIDS Philippines. Pangalawa ay ang Outstanding Youth and Youth Serving Organization na ipinagkaloob sa amin ng pamahalaan ng Lungsod Pasig at ng Local Youth Development Office. Ito ay matibay na patunay na ang aming programa ay may malaking impact at tulong sa mga kabataan sa usapin ng HIV.
Ending AIDS together. Ending AIDS together. Ending AIDS together.
Sa SK.
Sa SK.
Sa SK.
Sa SK.
Sa SK. Kaya.
Kaya. Kaya.
Kaya.
Skiba. Skiba.
Skiba.
Ending AIDS together sa SK.
Skiba.
Ending AIDS together sa SK. Kaya. Skiba.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Catalyst Award for the most outstanding localized SDG implementation is awarded to SKIVA Positibong Pasigenyo. as the highest honoree of the 2013 Now Impact Awards, may we also request and invite our Catalyst awardee to deliver a 2-minute acceptance message, sharing the journey, insights, and the powerful impact behind their SDG initiative.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. And yes, my name is Kael Mata, the current chairperson of the Positibong Pasigueño Incorporated. Today, kahapon, lumabas ang pinaka-latest na data ng HIV sa buong Pilipinas. It was 61 cases per day mula January hanggang September 2025. 30 to 40% of these numbers ay galing sa kabataang edad 15 to 24 years old. Sa lungsod ng Pasig, 204 ang nag-positive sa HIV dated January to June 2025. 30% of this ay mga kabataan, 58 of 204 ay mga kabataang edad 15 to 24 years old. And yet, marami pa ring mga kabataan ang walang access sa kung papaano nila poprotektahan ng kanilang sarili mula sa HIV, STI, at unwanted teenage pregnancy. I was 21 years old when I was positive, when I was tested as HIV positive. And until now, malinaw pa rin sa akin na dati, pag positive ka, automatic mamamatay ka kaagad. Kasi wala naman available na information, wala naman protection on that part. Now, ang skiba ay patunay na hindi natin kailangan ng 39 million pesos para lumipad ng Thailand para tugunan ang concern ng mga kabataan sa HIV. Ang kailangan ay makakabataan, makabago, at mapanglahok na pagpaplano sa kung papaano natin tutugunan ng HIV. Dahil kung pag-uusapan ang kapakanan, suliranin ng mga kabataan, dapat bahagi ang kabataan. Mula sa talakayan, pagpaplano, hanggang sa implementation at evaluation, dapat bahagi ang kabataan. Lubos ang aming pasasalamat sa lahat ng mga nagtiwala sa aming kakayanan mula noon hanggang ngayon. Sa Achieve Incorporated, Epic Philippines. At of course, lubos din ang aming pasalamat sa Pasig SK Federasyon headed by Honorable KC Costillas na naging pinakamalakas naming kapanalig laban sa HIV sa lungsod ng Pasig. Sa lahat ng SK Council, kay Chair Claudie, Chair Mika, at sa lahat ng SK Council na piniling tumugon sa pangangailangan ng mga kabataan sa usapin ng HIV. Lubos ang aming pasalamat. Sa pamalaang lungsod ng Pasig, Mayor Vico Soto, sa iyong suporta, mahusay ang aming mayor, kaya dapat kami bilang organisasyon ay nagpapakita rin ng kahusayan. Dahil dapat patuloy na umagos ang pag-asa. Maraming salamat din sa mga taong o mga individual o mga grupo na hindi nagtiwala sa amin. Patuloy na nagsabi ng hindi magaganda. Salamat dahil kayo ang aming naging dahilan para araw-araw naming pagbutihin ang aming laban. Salamat dahil kayo ang naging inspirasyon namin para mas lalong humusay. And of course, maraming salamat sa mga volunteers na araw-araw at lagi nakakarinig ng galit, sermon ko bilang kanilang leader. Kay Karen na aming advocacy officer and translate officer. Of course, kay Nathan ang aming finance officer. Sa aming mga peer educator and youth volunteer, Kleng and Justin. And yung tao na nasa likod ng editing, na last minute, imagine, it was like 11:55, nanginginig na siya dahil sumisigaw na ako dahil kailangan 11:59, submitted na yon. Sean, maraming salamat. And Alex, ang aming volunteer, maraming salamat din sa iba pang mga bahagi ng aming laban, Bree, Mark, Mond, Alexis, Daryl Mong, Alan, Art, Briggs, Michael, Sedi, Brian, Ron, Richelle, J-Lo, Fernan, Jean, Lloyd, Tasha, Ira. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng oras, pagod, malasakit na ibinibigay nyo sa labang ito. Hindi madali pero lumaban tayo, umuusad tayo. Ang panalong ito ay para sa mga katulad kong person living with HIV. Patuloy tayong mamuhay ng normal at malusog. Isang patotoo na hindi porket HIV positive ay death sentence na. Ang pagkakaroon ng HIV ay maaaring problema, pero kung haharapin natin ito ng buong puso, mapapatunayan natin na hindi tayo i-define ng virus. Because HIV can only kill our immunity but not our humanity. Of course, kasama ko sa labang ito ay ang isang HIV positive din na biktima ng diskriminasyon pero lumaban. Karen, maraming salamat. Ang panalong ito ay para sa mga kabataang transgender na paulit-ulit pinagkakaitan ng maayos at makakabataang serbisyo, programa at pulisiya. Ang labang ito, ang panalong ito ay para sa mga kabataang paulit-ulit na pinagdadamutan ng makabatang serbisyong pangkalusugan dahil sa kanilang paniniwala sa relihiyon. Pangako ng positibong Pasigenyo or patuloy na kikilos ng positibong Pasigenyo para sa makabago, komprehensibo, makakabataang pulisiya, serbisyo at programa sa kalusugang sexual, kasarian at karapatan. Dahil sa huli, Pasigenyong Pasigenyong healthy, sitting happy. Tayo si Inchang, kabataang Pasigenyo, panalo! Maraming salamat po.
Congratulations to our fellow CBS motivators from Positibong Pasigenyo. Undetectable is equal to untransmittable. Stop the HIV stigma, everyone. As we near the end of this meaningful celebration, we take a moment to reflect on the commitments, inspiration, and collective vision we have witnessed tonight. To share her reflections and guide us toward the path ahead, we once again welcome Ms. Eliza E. Makabuhay, National Youth Convener for Awards and Recognitions for the Philippine Youth Convention 2025.
Good evening, everyone. Distinguished guests, esteemed judges, fellow youth leaders, and awardees, good evening once again. As we come to the close of the 2030 Now Youth SDG Impact Awards, I invite everyone to pause and reflect on what this gathering truly represents. Tonight is more than a ceremony. It is more than the plaques, recognitions, or applause. What we celebrate here is the spirit of impact, the collective work of young Filipinos who rise each day with a mission to make their communities better, more inclusive, and more sustainable. Each entry, each story, and each project presented in this program is a testament to the power of youth-led action in localizing the SDGs. These initiatives, whether recognized tonight or not, all contribute to a shared movement, one fueled by passion, creativity, and a deep commitment to serve. Recognition may have been given to a few, but every participant here is a change maker. Everyone has added value, and everyone continues to carry forward the hope and energy that our country needs. To our awardees, congratulations. Your achievements are not just accomplishments. They are signals of what is possible when young people lead with purpose. You have shown that innovation does not always need grand resources. Sometimes it only needs courage, heart, and a clear vision of the change you want to see. To my fellow National Youth Conveners and fellow UNYAP Bicol officers, thank you for your dedication in ensuring that this program became a meaningful and successful endeavor. to the UNAP board, we are deeply grateful for your guidance, trust, and support in empowering youth to take meaningful action toward the SDGs. And to our judges, speakers, and guests, thank you for lending your expertise, your time, and your encouragement to this growing movement of young advocates. As we look ahead, let this night not be a final chapter, but a renowned beginning. May this celebration inspire us to go back to our communities with deeper conviction. May it remind us that leadership is not about position, but purpose, not about recognition, but responsibility. The path to 2030 is not easy, but it is one we walk together, shoulder to shoulder, idea by idea, and project by project. Let us continue to empower, to uplift, and to collaborate. Let us sustain the momentum we have created here and ensure that the stories of impact showcased tonight are only the beginning of many more. Maraming salamat po, and may we all continue to empower and inspire today, tomorrow, and all the way to 2030 and beyond.
Thank you so much, Eliza. Just a quick reminder for everyone that before we leave our venue for this evening, let's have first a photo opportunity after my closing spiel. Okay, guys? As we officially conclude this year's Cultural and Awards Night, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all delegates, partners, institutions, community leaders, and honored guests. Your presence and participation have enriched this evening with meaning, unity, and hope. May the spirit of collaboration and youth leadership that filled this room continue to inspire our journey toward 2030 and beyond. Let us carry forward the lessons, connections, and aspirations, and we share tonight as we work together to build a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable nation. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh, and this is 2030 is Now, the Youth SDG Impact Awards. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
All right. So everyone, before we leave